very hard to disengage these days. We have parents that'll come out to rough a ranch, and they'll say that they just sense a bit of calmness, a bit of peace when they come out here. And I wonder how much of that is attributed to Charles, our self-appointed therapy dog. He sits in your lap, and you've got to be still. You've got to be calm. And in that, I wonder how much rest is provided for our souls. This is exactly what we see when we've been looking at Matthew 14. There's a couple of verses that we see that Jesus is really struggling to get away, to get some rest. He's been dealing with the Pharisees and their lack of faith, and they're bolstering up their traditions. He's been healing a tremendous amount of people. And so several times he's got away. In Matthew 14, we see he gets news of John the Baptist being beheaded. And in verse 13 it says, when Jesus heard of it, he departed thence by ship unto a desert place apart. And when the people had heard thereof, they followed him on foot out of the city. And so now he's healing them. And then we see in verse 23, and when he had sent the multitudes away, he went up to a mountain apart to pray. And when evening was come, he was there alone. And so once again, he's seeking that rest. He's seeking that disconnection that he really needed to get a little bit of wholeness to his soul. And then we find ourselves over in chapter 15, verse 21. It says, then Jesus went thence and departed unto the coast of Tyre and Sidon. And so he can't get any rest in the Jewish occupied area, and that's what he went to. Is he went to the nation of Israel to minister unto them. And so he goes to a Canaanite land so that he can now get rest. And while he's in that land, there's a mother there, and she's got a daughter that's afflicted by a devil, and she comes to him. And then we enter into this exchange that's rather interesting, and it can confuse us, because what Jesus does is he calls her a dog in what he's saying, and that gets us to think, oh, the Jews talk to the Gentiles and they use these derogatory terms, and we can go there. But let's take a look at what he's saying. What he's saying is, look, I've been sent to the nation of Israel, and that's what I've come to do. And she comes to him wanting him to minister to her, and he's actually come there to rest. And what he's sharing with her is his priorities. When he says that should he take the bread that belongs to the children and throw it to the little dogs, and it's really interesting the term that's used there. The term, when you look at it in the Greek, is a term that's only used a couple of times, and it's referred to little dogs, like little pets, as opposed to the word kuon, which is like a wild cur, which you often find in the scriptures. And so he uses this extremely unique term that is not intended to be a racial slur or to put her down, but to say, I've got some priorities here. And interesting enough is, as he is dealing with her and she is persistent, he goes ahead and he delivers her daughter. And what he is showing his disciples is her tremendous faith. And he says, he actually notes her great faith. And I find that so interesting is he's seen a people whose religious leaders were more concerned about their position and their tradition than they really were about finding the Messiah. And then a people that were actually more concerned about getting from him than recognizing who he was. This woman recognized exactly who he was. It says, have mercy on me, O Lord, son of David. And so she knew exactly who he was and what his power was. And she wanted to be affiliated with him and all that he could offer. Now, that has got to cause us to reflect a little bit. Why do we follow the Lord? Is it because of what he can provide? Are we a lot like the nation of Israel there, that whenever he is blessing, we want to be there? Do we want the blessing or the blesser? Do we want what he can provide, or we just want him? She knew who he was, desired to be with him, and all that he had to offer. This is a challenge for us to take a look at this. And what's interesting is that he went there to get rest, and she actually found rest in her soul when she found the Lord. The Lord delivered her daughter from this devil. She was acquainted with the God of the universe in human flesh, Emmanuel. There was wholeness that was brought to her. And so she had a calmness, a tranquility in her soul that was completely unparalleled. Well, a therapy dog may provide you with some temporary calmness, while a vacation might give you a bit of refreshment. It's only the Lord that's going to give rest to your soul. And so here we see that the Savior was seeking a bit of rest, and we find this Canaanite woman that receives the rest. As you seek the Lord, seek him for who he is and not just what he can do. Recognize him as Lord in your life. See him as the Son of David, the promised one. May God richly bless you. Thank you so much.